Yeah, listener, I didn't know Dave Terrell, which is to say, like, I didn't really know Nate Diaz. Like, I'd see him and I'd nod my head at him. He had a kind of a crazy truck promoting his company. It was a car, I think, some kind of NorCal type Prius machine or something. I may be remembering it wrong, but it had North, it wasn't North County, but North something Fight Club or whatever it was up there. I heard a lot of good things about David Terrell, just like me and Jake Shields. Apparently, me and David Terrell shared some of the same friends. But, it's a small world up there in NorCal, and what are you going to do? Listen, the guys at the El Nino would talk about David Terrell in like awe-inspiring fashion. Like Moses Baca told me that David Terrell, his submission fighting strength was superhuman and the best in the world. And I said, better than Jake's, meaning Jake Shields. And Moses Baca said, well, I'm not going to touch that. But he said it in such a way to make me believe that he meant it. And Jake Shields has got like a garbage disposal type strength when he grabs you. So to say that David Terrell's got more strength than Jake is just a huge, huge compliment. I know the guy should have been champion, right? He fought a guy that effectively shouldn't have beat him in any way, talent wise or anything else. But, sometimes we get to the big game and it's hard. That guy, Evan Tanner, that died out in the wilderness, right? And Evan Tanner learned a lot of his jiu-jitsu moves and stuff through tapes, if you can believe it. But that's how wide open a sport MMA was at the time. So if you were just a gritty guy with raw determination, you could pull off miracles like that. And, David lost his UFC title fight to Evan Tanner. And that's a miracle that Tanner was able to beat him. And very a shame that David went out without winning the UFC title. Now, he's got a great gym up there in Santa Rosa right now that everybody goes to. Like I said, I think it's a lot different than the other clubs. He wasn't at San Francisco State, as far as I know, with Gil and Jake. So I don't think there was that kind of bond. But what do I know? I didn't really know the guy. Maybe he's exactly like those guys. I have no clue, to be totally honest with you. What I do know is that he was a incredibly tough human being, and one of the guys that was really surprising that didn't win the UFC title, especially in the era he came. I mean, the era he was in, it was a pioneer era still, right? Like, it should have been his for the taking. But listen, we all get into our own head when we're fighting. I'm sure he was into his own head against Evan Tanner. But yeah, great fighter, great teacher, listener, and I'm glad you had an instructor that awesome. The one thing that I had problems with my instructors in jiu-jitsu for a long time is if they were little guys, they couldn't teach me jiu-jitsu for a big guy, so it went nowhere. David is not a little guy. He's a big guy, so it's perfect. Everybody, read my book, Warrior of the Light.